Welcome to the Email Campaign Management Learning Session. Today we'll review how to create email campaigns in Sugar, including creating email templates, target suppression test and seed lists, creating and embedding tracker links, building, testing, and executing your email campaigns, and how to conduct analysis of your campaigns in Sugar. First, we'll start with the campaigns overview. The campaigns module allows you to communicate a strategic or tactical message to your customers. The purpose of the campaign can be to acquire, retain, cross-sell, stimulate usage, provide a customer service message, or to build or reinforce a brand. In Sugar, you can manage different types of campaigns, not just online campaigns, but also traditional campaigns like billboard ads or direct mail. The Wizard makes using campaigns simple and walks you through the steps to create a campaign. You can track what interests your targets. The system updates the numbers of which targets have viewed a campaign, as well as those who have clicked on tracker links. You can also track your ROI in the system. Your return on investment is directly affected by the opportunities that were generated by the campaign. Let's review the different types of campaigns you can create and track in Sugar. With the newsletter campaign, you can send out the same campaign over and over again on a weekly, monthly, or quarterly basis. An email campaign is a one-time email campaign that can also be measured in Sugar. And then there's the non-email based campaign. This is for more traditional types of campaigns like billboards, mail, and radio. With this type of campaign, you can create a record for the campaign in Sugar to track it. The key steps in creating and executing an email campaign are creating the email templates, creating your target lists, creating and embedding tracker links, and then testing and executing your campaign. And finally, campaign analysis, which you can review at any time after the emails are sent. Some of the terms used in campaigns are listed here. A campaign is a coordinated effort where the objective is to deliver a set of individual email marketing messages to a specific audience. A target is an individual that is touched by marketing, not by sales. This is someone you have some information on, but they don't qualify as a lead or a contact yet. Then there's a target list. This is where you group multiple targets together according to a set of predetermined criteria, usually, such as age group or spending habits. And then there's a lead. This is a person, or it can be an organization or company that might be interested in your product or services. Usually after this is qualified, it becomes a sales opportunity and you convert that lead into a contact, an account, and opportunity. A contact. This is an individual that you will, are, or have done business with. They're usually associated with an account, and they're always a person. Users. These are employees using the Sugar system. And accounts. These are companies with a primary contact in the account record for your campaign. Before you get into Sugar and start creating the campaign, take the time to plan it out. What will the content be? Is it going to be a recurring newsletter type, or is this a one-time summer sale? Who are you targeting in this campaign? Work with your IT department to make sure your email is set up properly for campaigns. Your Sugar system admin should configure your outgoing email settings and set up a bounce handling inbox. It's a best practice to keep your email batches under 500 or less, sent at 10-minute intervals in order to avoid spam filters. Your system admin can control the batch size in the campaign email settings section and the intervals in the scheduler section of the administration homepage. For more information on setting up email and schedulers, view the Configuring Email Settings recorded webinar at Sugar University. You can monitor the results of your campaign with the email campaign status and ROI charts. The campaign status information includes the following: a chart displaying the campaign response by recipient activity, including campaign statistics such as messages sent and messages that bounced, how many emails were sent out and how many are still in the email queue, how many targets viewed the email, how many targets clicked the embedded URL links, how many targets were converted into leads or contacts, how many emails bounced back due to an invalid email address or other reason, and how many targets chose to opt out of your target list. When you create your campaign record, you can record your budget, expected revenue, costs, and impressions for the campaigns. For impressions, enter the number of page views generated from the campaign. You will need to fill in the field after the campaign has commenced. The information you enter here will affect the return on investment chart. With this ROI chart, you can see how effective your campaign has actually been. If any opportunities that were related to your campaign closed, you will see the numbers here in the revenue column. The Campaigns module is similar to other modules in Sugar, so this is just a quick review. There's a list view. The Campaigns module also has an Actions hover menu you can use to create new campaigns and access different campaign features. You can search for your campaigns just like in any other module. You can use Mass Update to update several campaigns at one time. There's a detail view, and this is where you can get to the other components of campaigns like tracker URLs and the marketing record. And there's the edit view, and this is where you create and update the campaign record. Now let's take a look at email campaigns in Sugar. For this demonstration, I'm logged in as Laura Angel, a marketing manager in my training environment, and we're going to navigate to the Campaigns module to take a look at the components there. First of all, when we arrive at the Campaigns module, we see the list view. If I hover over the Campaigns module tab, I have access to the Actions menu and the Last Viewed section. From here, I can create campaigns. I can view existing campaigns, view existing newsletters. I can create email templates from here as well. This is where I'll view diagnostics, and I can also create a web to lead form from the Campaigns module. The search panel is at the top of the screen. I can expand it and look at the advanced search or go back to basic search. Let's go ahead and look at an existing campaign in the system. We'll look at the email campaign, Summer Marketing Effort, Target Services. We're looking at the detail view now. I can see basic information that's been entered about my campaign. If I scroll down, I can see the other components to a campaign. We have a subpanel for target lists. Any target list that you create for this campaign will display here. Tracker URLs is the next subpanel down. Again, any tracker URLs you create for the campaign, whether during the wizard or here at the subpanel level, will appear here in this subpanel. And finally, at the very bottom is the very important email marketing record. And it's in this record where you specify when your campaign is sent and who it's sent to. If we scroll back to the top of the page, we have access to the Launch Wizard button, which will take us right back into the campaign wizard. And we have the View Status button. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. This gets us to our status chart where we can see who has viewed the campaign, who's opted out, and so on. And if we click on the View ROI button, we have access to the Return on Investment screen, which shows us our ROI details in the panel on the top and our chart in the panel on the bottom. And this concludes our brief overview. Now we'll take a look at the details of each campaign component. First, we'll look at email templates. With email templates, you can personalize them by inserting the recipient's name and other fields from the record. Be sure to include images in your template to make them a little more flashy. You can embed them, or as a best practice, place the image on a public-facing server and include an HTML tag within the email template to reference the image. This reduces the size of the outgoing emails. There's an HTML editor you can use to add style and formatting to your template. You have the option to make the email available in plain text for recipients who won't be able to view the HTML format. During the test phase of the campaign, be sure to view the email in a few different email clients when you're testing it, because the formatting changes per email client and you may need to adjust the formatting. Tracker URLs allow you to monitor links that your campaign recipients click on. These links can direct the recipients to an external website or to a PHP file in your system. The latter would be used for an opt-out link. Tracker URLs are specific to a campaign, so you must create a new tracker URL for each campaign. This allows the system to keep the tracking statistics separate for each campaign. When you create your tracker URL, you must ensure that it appears the same way within the email template as it's case sensitive. If you're sending a plain text email, you must manually add the value of the tracker URL in the plain text email portion of the template. There are two different types of tracker links. With redirect links, the system generates a unique key for each URL and for each recipient and associates it with the email template. When recipients open the email and click on a URL link, the system, using the unique key identifier, tracks each action by each recipient. With unsubscribe links, targets can unsubscribe themselves from your campaign mailing list. You can embed an unsubscribe link in a tracker URL. When targets click on that URL to unsubscribe from your campaign emails, the system logs the action for your records. Now let's view and create an email template. I'm logged into the system again as Laura, a marketing employee in our training environment. And to access an email template, I can go directly to the campaign. We'll choose the Sugar U newsletter campaign and scroll down to the marketing record. This is where the email template resides with the campaign. I can access the email template from my marketing record, or I can also access it from hovering over the campaign's module tab and selecting the View Email Templates link. This gives me access to all email templates in the system, whether or not they're related to a campaign. Let's look at the Feb newsletter campaign. I have access to see what this would look like coming across to my customers, and I can click on the Edit button to change this email template if I'd like to. I can type directly into the email template and make my changes, or I can use the editor above this. Let's go ahead and create our own email template. To do that, I hover over the Emails module tab and select Create Email Template. I can do this from the Campaigns module tab as well. So we'll go ahead and put in a name for our email template. This is nothing that the customer will see, what we're entering now. We can include a description. Now the subject line and the body of the email, that is what your recipients will see. So we'll go ahead and put in a subject line here. And in the body, we can continue to update this email template and put in the pertinent information we want to add. When we do that, we can use the editor up above, or we could just click on the HTML link within the editor to access the source. There's nothing here now, but if I had created a template with HTML, I could just copy and paste it into the source editor, click on the update button, and then my email template would be updated and created from that HTML code. Or I could just use the editor here. And I could use the editing tools to edit this information. I can add an image by scrolling down to the very bottom of the page. I select Choose File. This is how I add attachments or images. And I can select my image from my local files. I click into the email template, and then I come down to where I chose that file and click on the paperclip, and that inserts the image. Now if I wanted to be specific about how I addressed the recipients, I could bring in variables from the different modules. I can bring in variables from the Accounts module, the Contact, Lead, or Targets modules, or User modules. We'll go with the Contact, Lead, and Target modules. And now if I select a name here, I can select name, which is full name, or if I want to be more informal, I can add the first name. And I place my cursor where I want that variable to be inserted, and then I click the Insert button at the top of the screen. And so now each person who receives this email, it will have their first name here. I can do this for any field within the modules listed here. Now let's take a look at tracker URLs. We'll head back to the Campaigns module and drill into our existing Sugar U newsletter campaign. If I scroll down in the detail view, I have access to the Tracker URLs subpanel. From here, I can create a new tracker URL. I click the Create button, and I'm going to call this one Unsubscribe. And I'll mark this as opt-out link, and this automatically inserts the reference that needs to be added to track this as an opt-out link. I'm going to go ahead and create another tracker URL. This one is not an opt-out link, so I don't check that box, and I'm going to have this direct everyone to the Sugar University webpage. So if I scroll down, I see that I have 3 tracker URLs. To insert my tracker URL outside of the campaign wizard, we'll need to head to the marketing record. From here, I click on the Edit link, and I access the email template from within this marketing record. I'll select Edit to edit the existing newsletter. And now we have access to the Insert Tracker URL section, which was not available when we access the email template directly from the Email Templates list view. Inserting the tracker URL is very similar to inserting a variable from a module. Scroll down and select where you want your URL inserted. Click inside the body of the email template and select the Insert URL button, and then it's inserted. I can access the drop-down to access my other tracker URLs and insert those wherever I want to. Notice that Register Now has a capital R and capital N as it does in the tracker above. I'll need to make sure that these stay capitalized and same verbiage listed here in the body of my email so that this URL works properly. Once you're done inserting your URLs, click Save, and the tracker URLs are now within your email template. Now let's look at target lists. A target list is used to specify individuals that you want to include or exclude from a campaign. They can include contact, lead, target, and user records. You can add targets to the target list by selecting them from reports in Sugar, importing them from a CSV or TSV file, or by selecting them from existing contacts, leads, or target records. Note that any Sugar users included in a target list cannot opt out, so they will not see the appropriate opt-out links in the email. There are 4 different target list types. The default list is the people who are the campaign targets and receive the campaign email. Sugar performs a check to prevent duplicate emails being sent out to this default list. A seed list is people who need to receive the campaign email but must not be tracked as potential leads. The seed list is primarily used for internal purposes to confirm that the campaign has been successfully completed. A test list is for people who will receive a campaign email to test it before it is sent out to the default list. The test list provides no duplicate check. The suppression list is the people you want to exclude from the campaign and email recipient list. Suppression lists can be suppressed by ID, email address, or domain. Do not add suppression lists for testing. Note that the test and seed lists are both ignored in email tracking statistics. Users included on test and suppression lists will not receive the executed email. To add targets to a target list, you will use the Select button to select specific records from the Contact, Lead, Target, Account, and User modules, or you will use the Select from Reports button to select an existing report with your targets. This is a best practice and the most efficient way to add targets to your lists. Keep in mind that it must be a rows and columns report, and the primary module in the report must be Contacts, Leads, Targets, Accounts, or Users. While you may purchase target lists and import them, or create a list from reports, you can also manually create target records in Sugar. Target records are standalone records that are not attached to contacts or leads. Now let's look at target lists in Sugar. From the Campaigns module, we can drill directly into one of our existing campaigns and view the target lists associated with it in the Target List subpanel. From here, we can select a list and view it. This list is a default list, and we can see the related records that make up the target list. We have target records, about 20. We have 23 contact records and 23 lead records, no account, and no user records. You can also access this target list directly from the Targets module. Notice that that is what's highlighted now. Let's go back to Campaigns Here we're at our campaign list view, and to access the target list module, we select target lists. And here is a list of every target list that's in Sugar at this moment. I can also see them, like we said before, from the related campaign. To create a new target list, you hover over the Target List module tab and select Create Target List. This is really like a shell for our targets. We're just going to create this empty list first. And we choose what type of list it is, default, seed, suppression, or test, and click Save. From here, we can start adding in our different records that we want to make up this target list. We can select targets individually, or we can select records from reports. I can also create a new record and add it to this list immediately. Create the new account. Be sure to add in the email address. Note that when an account record is included, the email address that's within that account record is who the recipient of this campaign will be. I can also create a test list or a suppression list in the same way. You just choose which type of list you'd like to create. Now let's take a look directly at the Targets module. Again, we access that from the module tab, Targets, and now I can see my standalone target records. I can update and view these records just like any other record in Sugar. Notice that there is a Convert Target button. I can convert a target to a lead in Sugar. Remember that you can access target lists from the campaigns themselves, as well as from the Target List module, and then target records from the Targets module. Now let's look at Campaign Diagnostics. The Campaign Diagnostics link is a system check for you to make sure your email settings and scheduler components are set up correctly. You will find it in the Actions menu. You can check to make sure that the email connection and scheduler are set up properly. Only the system admin has access to this Setup Email page, and they can set up the mailboxes to use for your campaign from this link. It's a great place for system admins to check email settings to ensure the system is ready to send email campaigns. And now let's walk through the Email Campaign Wizard. The wizard takes you through each step that needs to be completed to set up a campaign. You can use the wizard for email, newsletter, or more traditional types of campaigns. The wizard walks you through each of these steps, and then you can send the emails at the end or save and send it later. These are the key steps you take after you've created your campaign with the wizard and you're ready to send the campaign. This can be done from within the campaign wizard, or if you've already completed the wizard or didn't use the wizard to set up your campaign, you can access this in the marketing record for the campaign. Let's walk through creating an email campaign, pulling in what we've already created, the email templates and the target lists. Now we'll create a campaign using the Campaign Wizard. To start the Campaign Wizard, hover over the Campaigns module tab and select the Create Campaign Wizard at the top of the list. First of all, I need to select what type of campaign I'm going to create. A newsletter type of campaign is for a recurring email blast that you'll send out quarterly, monthly, weekly, and so on. This is going to be just a one-time email blast for a summer sale. We'll need to fill out details about our campaign. Our status here, we'll choose active. This does not affect when the email record will be sent out or if the email record is active. This is simply showing that our campaign record is active and someone is working on this campaign. We can choose a start and end date for our campaign, and again, this does not determine when the email blast will be sent. Let's click the Next button in our Campaign Wizard to get to the next step, which is budget. We can enter in budget details here. This will later affect our return on investment chart. Impressions is the amount of people that you would like to view your email record blast. Now let's create our tracker URLs for this campaign. So I'm going to create one called Register Now. The first one is a regular URL, and the second one will be an unsubscribe link. Now both of my tracker URLs are created, and I can move on to the next step. We'll insert the tracker URLs into the email template later. Now let's go ahead and select our target list that we already created, our summer default list. And now I'm going to save and continue, and at this point my campaign record is saved, and I can leave this record and it will remain in the system. This step is the marketing email step, and this is the one that affects when the email blast will be sent. We'll call this Summer Sugar U Marketing. And we're going to go ahead and use our campaign email box that our system administrator has already set up. If your system admin has not set up an email box for you, then you may not have an account to choose from here. Our status for this email record is active. This means that if someone clicks the Send Emails button for the campaign, it will send this marketing record. I'll choose a start date and time in the future for this email blast to be sent. In the next step, I can choose the from name and from address for this email blast, and the reply to name and reply to address. So these email addresses can be completely different from one another. Now we're going to choose who this message is going to. We can choose just one target list, or if we had many here, we could check the box for the system to choose all of the lists associated to the campaign. And now for the email template. Now we could go ahead and create a new email template from here at this point, but we've already put together our email template, so let's go ahead and choose that one. And from here we can edit it, and we need to do this to add in our tracker URLs. So I choose where I want my tracker URL to appear, and I can just click on the Insert button to insert that URL. And I'll include my unsubscribe URL at the bottom. And now I save it, and my tracker URLs are included. Now I could completely skip this URL tracker creation step and go ahead and do this from the main campaign record using those subpanels. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish this, and let's go and look at the campaign record itself. First, we have a visual of a summary of the campaign record, and now let's go ahead and look at the campaign record itself. So let's go ahead and access it with our campaigns module, and here's our Sugar U Summer Sale campaign that we just set up with the wizard. It includes our target list, our tracker URLs, and our email marketing record. Now if I'm ready to go ahead and send my email marketing record, I can access this, edit it, and if I want to send this email blast immediately, I need to choose a date and time in the past. So I'm going to choose yesterday and click on Save, and now I can click Send Test, and if I had a test list associated with this campaign, it would send the email blast to those in my test list. Or I could click on Send Emails, and it would actually send out the emails to my target list. We can always add another email marketing record to this campaign and more track URLs and update our target list at any time. And this concludes using the Campaign Wizard to create your campaign. Now you can create email templates with tracker URLs, create target lists, build and execute your campaigns, and finally, monitor the results of your efforts. Thanks for joining the Campaign Management Learning Session.